The battle cruiser Emerald Dawn drifted silently in the black abyss of deep space, its sensors humming with faint, almost imperceptible signals from the void. At its helm, Admiral Janice Rathorn studied the latest reports with a grim expression. The Traylock Confederacy, a coalition of aggressive alien factions, had made a fatal error, a mistake that no civilization, no matter how daring, could afford. The Traylock raiders had ambushed Solace, one of humanity's premier hospital ships, in an unprovoked attack that defied every galactic treaty. The Solace was unarmed by design, a beacon of peace and healing that traveled between war-torn sectors, offering aid to any species in need. But the Traylock didn't care for such ideals. They saw a target of opportunity and struck, unleashing destruction upon the innocent. The wreckage floated now as a silent testament to their cruelty, its white hull stained black with carbon scoring, its medical insignia marred and twisted. Over 10,000 patients, doctors, and crew were gone. Humanity's response came swiftly, as inevitable as the rising tide. Status report, Rathorn growled, his voice a low rumble that carried authority. Fleet is ready, sir, replied Commander Elise Varen, standing at his side. All vessels have confirmed combat readiness. The Traylock stronghold on Clearith 7 is within striking distance. Good. Rathorn's eyes burned with a quiet fury. We gave them a chance to surrender. They didn't respond, Admiral, Varen said, her tone equally cold. They think we're bluffing. Rathorn leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled before him. Then let them learn what happens when you attack our lifeline. The human fleet, an awe-inspiring armada of starships bristling with advanced weaponry, surged toward Clearith 7. The Traylock stronghold was a fortress planet, surrounded by asteroid defenses and patrolled by heavily armed cruisers. On any other day, it might have posed a significant challenge. But today, there was no mercy in the hearts of humanity's commanders, only a burning resolve to avenge the innocents and ensure that such an atrocity would never happen again. The first wave struck with the precision of a scalpel. Missile frigates launched EMP payloads that neutralized the asteroid defenses in a matter of seconds. Pulses of white-hot plasma tore through the void, rending Traylock patrol ships into fiery wreckage. The Emerald Dawn, leading the charge, unleashed its primary beam cannon, carving a path through the chaos like a celestial sword. The Traylock defenders scrambled to respond, their formations collapsing under the relentless human assault. Their strategy was simple: overwhelm the invaders with sheer numbers. But for every ship they sent into the fray, humanity's fleet had a countermeasure. Swarms of drones harried enemy fighters, while human battle cruisers outmaneuvered their larger counterparts with ruthless efficiency. On the bridge of the Emerald Dawn, Rathorn watched the carnage unfold with a detached intensity. Focus fire on their command vessels, he ordered. Cut off the head, and the body will fall. The crew worked seamlessly, their movements a symphony of discipline and precision. Rathorn's plan was executed to perfection. Within hours, the Traylock fleet was in disarray, their flagship a smoking ruin drifting in the upper atmosphere of Clearith 7. But humanity's vengeance wasn't complete. The Emerald Dawn led a ground assault to the planet's surface, where the Traylock leadership had retreated to their fortified bunkers. Rathorn himself descended with the strike teams, his battle armor gleaming under the planet's pale suns. The Traylock forces fought with desperation, but they were no match for the disciplined and technologically superior human soldiers. The final confrontation took place in the heart of the Traylock High Council chamber, a sprawling dome of alien architecture adorned with tapestries depicting their conquests. Rathorn stood at the center, his plasma rifle aimed at the quivering Traylock chieftain. "Do you know what you've done?" Rathorn said, his voice low and menacing. "Do you understand the gravity of your actions?" The chieftain, a towering figure with reptilian features, hissed in defiance. "You are but one race among many. We will not be cowed by your threats." Rathorn's gaze was unyielding. "This isn't a threat. It's a promise. Humanity doesn't seek war. We don't crave conquest. But when you attacked Solace, you crossed a line. You didn't just kill our people. You betrayed the very essence of what makes us civilized." He stepped closer, his tone icy. Let this be a warning to all who think humanity weak because we value life. We are not weak. We are patient. We are kind. But when you shatter that kindness, you awaken something far worse than your worst nightmare. The chieftain's defiance faltered, replaced by a flicker of fear. But it was too late for repentance. Rathorn's troops secured the council chamber, and the Traylock leaders were taken into custody. Clearith Seven's defenses were dismantled, its weapons factories dismantled, and its warships stripped for parts. The message was clear. Humanity would tolerate no further aggression. As the Emerald Dawn departed the shattered remains of the Traylock stronghold, Rathorn stood at the observation deck, watching the planet recede into the distance. The cost of peace had been high, but it was a price humanity was willing to pay to protect its lifeline. And somewhere, in the vast expanse of the galaxy, other factions watched and learned. They whispered of the humans' wrath, of their terrifying resolve when pushed too far. For in their attempt to exploit humanity's mercy, the Traylock had made their last mistake. As the fleet moved deeper into unexplored space, a lingering silence filled the observation deck of the Emerald Dawn. Admiral Rathorn stared into the stars, contemplating the fragile balance they had momentarily restored. Yet his instincts whispered that this victory was only the beginning. He turned to Commander Varen, who stood reviewing data feeds from the captured Traylock archives. "What do we know about their remaining forces?" Rathorn asked, breaking the silence. Varen adjusted her tablet, bringing up projections. "From what we've decoded, the Traylock Confederacy isn't as unified as we thought. Clearith 7 was a major stronghold, but there are splinter groups, fractured factions that may act independently now that their leadership is in disarray." Rathorn nodded, his expression grim. "And what about their allies? Did any other species support their attack on the Solace?" Varen hesitated. "There are hints, sir. Communications suggest a shadow network, supplying intelligence and resources to anti-human coalitions. It's likely the Traylock weren't working alone. The implications settled heavily between them. Rathorn had suspected as much. The attack on the Solace had been too calculated, too well-timed. If there were others orchestrating chaos from the shadows, humanity's troubles were far from over. "Have our analysts prioritize those leads," Rathorn ordered. "If there's a larger network, we need to dismantle it before it regroups." "Yes, Admiral," Varen replied, saluting sharply. Weeks passed as humanity's forces scoured the remnants of Trella-controlled space. What they uncovered painted a troubling picture. Hidden supply routes, covert bases, and encrypted transmissions suggested a conspiracy of galactic proportions. The humans had become more than just a growing power. They were now a symbol of both fear and opportunity. Some species viewed humanity as a threat, their unity and resilience a dangerous anomaly in a galaxy rife with division. Others, however, saw hope in their defiance, whispering of alliances that could challenge centuries of oppression. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. A stealth corvette, the Vanguard, intercepted a high-priority transmission near the ruins of an old Traylock outpost. The signal was traced to a neutral sector long abandoned by the major powers, a sprawling graveyard of derelict ships orbiting a dying star. What the humans found there was beyond imagination. A vast station, cloaked from sensors, pulsed faintly in the darkness. It was ancient, its architecture bearing no resemblance to any known species. As the Emerald Dawn approached, its scanners detected energy readings that defied human understanding. "Admiral," Varen said, her voice tinged with unease, "this structure predates anything in our records. The material composition doesn't match any known alloys. It's alien in every sense of the word. Alien even to aliens," Rathorn muttered. He turned to his bridge crew. "Prepare a boarding team. I want to see what's inside." The boarding party, clad in advanced exosuits, breached the station's outer hull and stepped into its cavernous interior. Strange, pulsating lights illuminated corridors that seemed to shift as they moved. Symbols etched into the walls glowed faintly, as if reacting to their presence. "This place isn't abandoned," one soldier murmured over the comms. "It's alive." As they ventured deeper, they discovered something chilling. A chamber filled with stasis pods, each containing a figure unlike anything they'd seen before. The creatures were massive, their forms encased in armor that seemed grown rather than forged. One pod stood out, a central figure surrounded by intricate machinery, its design suggesting a position of authority. Rathorn studied the scene, his instinct screaming that they'd stumbled upon something far greater than the Treylock or their petty wars. "Commander Varen, have our science teams analyze this immediately. If these beings are connected to the Treylock or their allies, we need to understand their role." But even as he spoke, the chamber trembled. Lights surged along the walls, and a low hum resonated through the station. The central pod began to stir. "Admiral," Varen's voice crackled through his helmet. "We've detected a power spike in the station's core. It's waking up. Everyone, fall back." Rathorn barked. "Evacuate to the Emerald Dawn, now." The team retreated, but not before the pod fully activated. The alien inside opened its eyes, glowing like twin suns, and let out a roar that reverberated through the station. In its gaze, Rathorn saw intelligence and an unfathomable hunger. Back on the Emerald Dawn, the fleet prepared for an assault. But the station didn't attack. Instead, it emitted a signal, a cascade of frequencies that rippled through the fabric of space. Moments later, their long-range sensors lit up with an overwhelming number of contacts. Ships were emerging from hyperspace, dozens, then hundreds. Some bore Treylock markings, but others were new and terrifyingly advanced. Varen turned to Rathorn, her expression a mix of fear and resolve. "Admiral, it's not just a station. It's a beacon." Rathorn clenched his fists, "and it just called the whole galaxy to war. Would you like me to continue? Or pause here so we can refine or expand any details?" The fleet gathered around the Emerald Dawn as the massive alien station loomed in the distance, pulsating like a living heart. The growing swarm of ships on the long-range sensors was staggering, an armada that dwarfed even humanity's formidable forces. Admiral Rathorn stood on the bridge, his jaw set in grim determination. "Status on incoming contacts?" Rathorn demanded, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. Commander Varen, seated at the tactical station, worked quickly. "The majority appear to be Treylock vessels, but there are new signatures, designs we've never encountered. They're coming in fast, Admiral. Estimated time to contact, 30 minutes. Rathorn nodded. "Alert the fleet. Full battle readiness. And get me a comm channel to High Command." A hollow screen flickered to life, displaying the face of Fleet Marshal Karen Dayon, humanity's supreme military leader. Her expression was hard, her silver hair pulled tightly back. "Admiral Rathorn, report. We've located what appears to be an ancient alien station of significant power," Rathorn began. "The structure activated upon our approach, and it's broadcasting a signal that has attracted a massive armada, primarily Treylock, but also unknown forces. We're heavily outnumbered." Marshal Dayon's eyes narrowed. "This station, do you believe it's a threat to humanity?" "It's beyond anything we've encountered," Rathorn replied. "If it falls into hostile hands, it could shift the balance of power across the galaxy. It's already mobilized factions we didn't even know existed." Dayon nodded grimly. "Hold your position, Admiral. Reinforcements are en route. But if the station becomes an imminent threat, you're authorized to neutralize it, by any means necessary." The transmission ended, leaving Rathorn with a bitter taste in his mouth. Neutralizing the station would mean destroying a piece of history, possibly one that held answers to humanity's place in the galaxy. But he wouldn't hesitate if it came to that. As the enemy fleet drew closer, the tension aboard the Emerald Dawn reached a boiling point. Rathorn's mind raced through scenarios, balancing the need for defense against the possibility of exploiting the station's technology. "Admiral," Varen said, her voice cutting through his thoughts, "the science team has completed a preliminary analysis of the station's signal. It's not just a beacon. It's a call to allegiance." Rathorn frowned. "Explain." "The signal carries a sequence that's compelling," Varen said. "It's a form of communication that bypasses language, appealing directly to the brain's decision-making centers. Any species that hears it might feel an overwhelming urge to serve whatever is broadcasting it." "Mind control," Rathorn muttered. "That explains the Treylock response. They're not just coming to claim the station. They're being called to serve it." Varen nodded. If that's true, Admiral, this station isn't just ancient. It's a relic of something far more dangerous. A force capable of bending entire civilizations to its will. Rathorn's thoughts churned. And if we destroy it, we lose the chance to study it, or to ensure it can't be used against us. A warning klaxon blared, cutting off further conversation. The enemy fleet had arrived. The battle erupted with terrifying ferocity. The human fleet formed a defensive perimeter around the station, their weapons blazing as waves of enemy ships surged forward. Traylock cruisers, emboldened by their growing numbers, targeted human vessels with reckless abandon. Unknown alien ships, sleek and predatory, unleashed weapons that shredded shields and hulls alike. Rathorn barked orders, directing his forces with unyielding precision. All units, hold formation. Protect the station at all costs. We can't let them board. The Emerald Dawn fired its main cannon, a beam of concentrated plasma that cut through an enemy destroyer like a knife through paper. Around it, drone swarms harassed smaller ships, their automated movements precise and relentless. But despite their efforts, the enemy was closing in. Boarding craft launched from the alien fleet, aiming for the station. Rathorn cursed under his breath. "Commander Varen, deploy strike teams to the station," he ordered. "We can't let them take control." "Yes, sir," Varen replied, already coordinating the response. Human soldiers launched from the fleet in dropships, racing to intercept the enemy boarders. Inside the station, the corridors became a deadly battleground. The ancient structure groaned under the strain, its shifting walls complicating the fight. Human marines, equipped with cutting-edge exosuits, clashed with Traylock shock troops and the enigmatic newcomers, their battles illuminated by the eerie glow of the station's lights. In the midst of the chaos, the central pod, the one housing the alien figure, activated again. This time, the creature emerged fully. It was enormous, its body encased in living armor that pulsed with energy. Its eyes glowed with an intensity that seemed to pierce through the battlefield. Rathorn, monitoring the fight from the bridge, felt a chill run down his spine. "We need to contain that thing. Whatever it is, it's the key to all of this." "Admiral," Varen interrupted, her voice urgent. "I'm picking up another power surge from the station. It's building towards something massive." The holo display updated, showing energy readings spiking beyond anything the fleet's sensors had ever recorded. Rathorn realized with dawning horror what was happening. "It's not just calling for allegiance," he said. "It's preparing to enforce it, galaxy-wide." "Admiral, what do we do?" Varen asked, her voice tight with fear. Rathorn stared at the display, then made his decision. "We stop it, whatever it takes." "Would you like me to continue from here with Rathorn's desperate plan and its execution?" Admiral Rathorn leaned over the command console, his mind racing as the energy readings from the alien station climbed higher and higher. The station wasn't just a relic of the past. It was a weapon, and it was about to rewrite the galaxy's future. "Commander Varen," he said sharply, "initiate emergency evacuation protocols for all non-essential personnel. If this goes wrong, I want as many people out of this system as possible." "Yes, sir," Varen replied, immediately relaying the order. Onboard transports and escape pods began detaching from the human fleet, ferrying civilians and wounded soldiers to safer distances. Rathorn turned back to the tactical display. The enemy ships were swarming, their numbers overwhelming, but he couldn't let them, or the station, win. "Patch me through to the fleet," he ordered. "This is Admiral Rathorn." His voice echoed across every ship. "Our enemy has underestimated us, and they've overplayed their hand. That station is a threat not just to humanity, but to every free species in the galaxy. Today, we fight not for survival, but for freedom. If we fail, countless lives will be enslaved to this monstrosity. That will not happen. Not on our watch." The fleet responded with cheers and affirmations, a surge of morale even in the face of overwhelming odds. "Commander Varen, target the station's energy core," Rathorn continued. "If we can't stop its activation, we'll destroy it." "Sir, our analysis suggests the core is buried deep within," Varen said. "It's protected by layers of alien shielding. Conventional weapons won't penetrate in time." Rathorn clenched his jaw. Then we'll do it manually. Prepare a strike team and arm a fusion charge. I'll lead the mission myself. Varen turned to him, her expression a mix of shock and respect. Admiral, you're the commanding officer of this fleet, and I'm responsible for its survival, Rathorn interrupted. We don't have time to argue. You're in command until I return. Minutes later, Rathorn and an elite team of Marines boarded a dropship and launched toward the station. Enemy fighters swarmed the skies, but human escorts cleared a path with brutal efficiency. The dropship landed with a screech, its hatch opening to reveal the chaos inside. The team moved quickly, blasting through Trayloc forces and alien combatants that seemed to emerge from the station's walls. The corridors pulsed with energy, the station reacting to their intrusion like a living organism. As they pressed deeper, the team encountered the central figure, the alien from the pod. It stood in their path, its glowing eyes radiating malice. You will serve, it said, its voice resonating directly in their minds. All will serve. Rathorn stepped forward, gripping his plasma rifle tightly. We've served no one but ourselves. And we're not starting now. The alien raised its hand, unleashing a wave of energy that sent several Marines sprawling. Rathorn dodged, firing his rifle with precision. The shots impacted the alien's armor but barely left a mark. His Marines followed suit, their combined firepower driving the creature back. Keep it busy, Rathorn ordered. I'll take the charge to the core. Two Marines provided cover fire as Rathorn sprinted past the alien, clutching the fusion charge. The corridor twisted and turned, as if the station itself was trying to stop him. Finally, he reached the core, a massive, pulsating sphere of light surrounded by intricate alien machinery. Rathorn placed the charge against the core, his fingers flying over the activation panel. As he set the timer, the alien's voice echoed in his mind again. You cannot destroy me. I am eternal. Rathorn smirked. We'll see about that. The alien suddenly appeared at the entrance to the chamber, its form battered but unyielding. Rathorn turned to face it, his rifle raised. I don't need to beat you, he said. I just need to buy time. The alien lunged, but Rathorn fired, aiming for the weakened joints in its armor. It staggered, roaring in frustration. The Marines arrived moments later, joining the fight and giving Rathorn the window he needed to retreat. Fall back, he shouted. The charge is set. The team sprinted toward their dropship as the station began to tremble, its core destabilizing. Alien ships outside the station broke formation, sensing the impending explosion. The human fleet seized the opportunity, cutting down fleeing enemy vessels with brutal efficiency. The dropship launched just as the station's core detonated. The explosion was like a miniature supernova, a wave of light and energy that consumed the station and every ship still near it. The human fleet pulled back, shields straining against the shockwave. When the light faded, the alien station was gone. The remaining enemy ships, leaderless and scattered, retreated into the void. On the bridge of the Emerald Dawn, Rathorn stood battered but victorious. The crew erupted into cheers as the reality of their survival sank in. Varen approached him, a rare smile on her face. Admiral, she said, we did it. Rathorn nodded, his expression tired but resolute. We bought the galaxy a chance. Now we have to make sure it counts. The human fleet began its journey home, carrying the weight of victory and the knowledge that new challenges awaited. But for now, the galaxy knew that humanity would not falter. When faced with threats beyond imagining, they stood tall. And those who underestimated them would pay the ultimate price. The price of making their last mistake.